let's be honest about certain things. We have no idea what's going on in the world that is the United States in America, and it's kind of fascinating, really, and I'm not even mad about it. Look, Donald Trump told us he was going to drain the swamp, and drain it he has. At least he showed us who is in the swamp. But let's get to deportes, to sports, where, well, fiction and reality is all spectacular, particularly when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, the foreplay in a year, Jets quarterback, the smug, I'm going to have a scotch. Bullshit artist, although I like Aaron Rodgers, was talking. Aaron Rodgers railed against those who are mad that he missed OTAs. Mandatory minicamp, actually, is what it was. And then he proceeded to offer his 2 cents into the political realm, which, you know what? Anymore, everybody should offer their 2 cents, really. If you think about it, why not? Why not? There is absolutely no reason to put your 2 cents in. I mean, hell, every slapdick Johnny is doing it all across the country. You might as well, and I don't care if you're an athlete or not. What the hell you got to lose? And by the way, I digress. Calling Kamala Harris not an African-American woman, making her stand on her record, and not voting for her is not racist. And if you think it is, kiss my backside. I move along. I don't understand this by Aaron Rodgers. I need help here. Talking about missing a mandatory minicamp. The thing I think people don't understand is that when I was in the NFC North and played for that team years ago, well, it was 2 years ago, there used to be a real thing called minicamp where it was. You had one of them, usually. Sometimes it was right after the draft. Either way, it was 5 practices in 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 2 practices on Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday. Now, it's not minicamp. They can arbitrarily put a tag on whatever week of OTAs they want. So this is the minicamp week, which makes it somehow more mandatory than the other weeks. But it was an OTA schedule. You can make a story out of the fact that I missed a minicamp when it was really 2 OTA days. I came to the first 10. Well, hey, boss, Aaron, I've been to 10. I'm not going to tell you I'm missing. Look, here's the deal. This is all nonsense. It's not going to matter once the games get started, but it does matter now. And if you're trying to lead a team and you're Robert Saleh as the leader of that team, the coach, I would guess you sat down with Rodgers and others and said, look, this is when we want to have mandatory minicamp. What do you think? Now, apparently they didn't, because Rodgers had going to Egypt or Botswana land or some hut in the middle of Portland. Maybe he went to Chaz, I don't know, to smoke ganja, get a little spleef going, maybe take an enema and a butt plug. But that's what he did. He wasn't there. So he missed the mandatory, which gets him fined. Now, if you really read this, nobody cares, really, that he played in the NFC North years ago for that team. Won't even say the Green Bay Packers, a team that made him famous and rich beyond his wildest dreams, but I digress. He sounds like a politician. Oh, hang on, caller. That's what he's trying to be. So then he gets into politics. Sure he does, because if you throw a football and you go to a junior college, then we must listen to you. But I think that's the way the world works. In fact, if you follow Twitter right now and you're following all that's happening or not happening with Joe Biden, you would agree with me when I say that Aaron Rodgers' junior college degree is probably the highest level academic performance of anybody commenting on it. But I digress. Then he gets into politics. I've said from the beginning, is an absolute sham. Wow, that's deep. I'm going to snap my fingers like I'm in a San Francisco coffee bar in 1978. And if we're seeing anything, whether they did what they did to Bernie Sanders in 2016, that we saw in the Podesta emails, or the fact that nothing ever really changes, I put that backwards. All they talk about is what they're going to do, and then life doesn't actually get better for any of us. Really, you make $50 million a year. I mean, seriously, there is a political element to the NFL. I mean, let's not BS the troops. For you, politics has been great because the NFL has made the government at all spread their legs and take it. So just shut up with that. And by the way, When the hell is the government supposed to make everything great for people? If you're relying on the government to make it great for you, I don't know what to tell you. It ain't going to happen. It never has. It never will. Now, I will agree with the premise, though. The premise is that these guys, these politicians, they promise, including Trump. Trump is promising this brand new utopia where everything's going to be great for everybody. It's bullshit, but maybe it'll get him elected. At least I hope that it does. Whether it's Republican or Democrat, and we're still doing the same effing two-party system, not letting Bobby get in or anywhere else. See, that's how cool he is. That's how hip the guy who has a junior college degree and can throw a football and smoke weed, he gets to call Robert Kennedy Jr. Bobby. Because, we've had a scotch together. So anyway, this arrogant fuck continues. We have Bobby, who doesn't even get a chance to be in the debates. If you knew the insides of how ridiculous it is for a third-party candidate to get on the ballots in 50 states, it's a effing sham. It's certain colors in some states. There's certain people you got to submit it to in other states. It's a certain amount of votes in certain states. It's an effing joke. I mean, we do know. Look, I get it, Mr. JC. I get it, man. I mean, we know. It ain't easy. If it were easy, it would happen. Ross Perot got in. Others have gotten in. I think Perot was a third-party candidate. I think he ended up as a third-party one. And for a minute, Ross Perot was leading, if you remember, going way back. But thank you for that, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you for that history lesson. We look forward to more of your incredible insights. I think it's fascinating. I mean, you can throw a football. Yay, Rod, go fight, win. But you don't show up. They're paying you $50 million a year. And I reread the first part of this, and I'm thinking to myself, what a load of crap. Why would you miss 2 days? They're paying you $50 million a year. To do what? Here's an NFL football schedule in season. We practice. Let's start the season. We are light Friday, off basically Saturday, travel, play the game Sunday. Little bit of rehab and maybe a video Monday. Nothing Tuesday, rehab. Practice a little bit Wednesday. Little harder Thursday. Nothing Friday, nothing Saturday. Play Sunday for $50 million. And you can't show up for 2 days? My ass. Now, does it matter? No. Here's why. The level has dropped. We have, as a society, giving in to the D-bags. We've given in to the drug dealers, the fentanyl users, the baby abusers. We have made heroes out of criminals. That's what we've done here. And sports is no different. There are people that will actually tell you and defend Aaron Rodgers missing those 2 days. Mandatory. Because that's the level. It used to be in America. We had a bar and people reached it. Now we got a bar. It's down here and actually people reach it. It's what we do. But Aaron Rodgers can talk and talk and talk and talk, and he's totally full of shit. And I'm not mad at him when he comes on McAfee and he's all smug and he's sitting back. I'm just tired of him. I get to a certain point, and maybe some of you have gotten there with me, or maybe some of you are energized with me. Hell, I don't know. But I get to a certain point with people where I'm just tired of you. It happened, and I never thought it would, with George W. Bush. I've said it many times. Every stinking time George W. Bush came on my TV, he did what Donald Trump says that Kamala Harris does. He speaks in rhymes. And then there was Obama, who every statement he was trying to show how smart he was. It all started with the Clintons, of course. By the way, I am not suicidal. Hillary, do not put me on your list. 56 of their friends/acquaintances have committed suicide. I'm not suicidal. But anyway, it started with Bill Clinton looking at us with that finger. You know, they put that finger together. Their thumb is out there, and that means they're really talking to you. So all these guys are full of crap. And maybe it's just me in old age, but I'm not that old. But anyway, Aaron, how about you just play a little football? I mean, I get it. You're interesting. It's more than a job. Blah, 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 blah. How about you just play a little football? Stay on the field, win some games, and then I think we'll all go back to listening to you. But we're all aware that it's hard for the two-party system to get in a third party. We're aware, Aaron. Thank you for showing up to the ball game at this point in time. We need you, A-Rod. We need you like I need my boil on my ass lanced. Public enemy number one in the world of football, the infamous Paul Finebaum, is being a clown again. Stunning development. Finebaum, I will give him credit, is keeping himself in the news. I've never understood Finebaum. I like Finebaum. But I've never really understood Finebaum. Oh, I screwed this up. Start it over. Public enemy number one in the world of football, Connor Stalions, remember him? Is getting his own Netflix documentary into what should shape up to be a wild look at the Michigan football program headed by legendary religious guy. Who's got it better than us? I can't beat Urban, so I'll cheat my ass off to beat Ryan Day. Jim Harbaugh. Stalions, known as CIA Stalions to some, lost his job because he was filming practices, allegedly. He was filming games, not practices of other teams. He was doing all kind of legal CIA stuff. But here's the deal. Jim Harbaugh was on his way out until Connor Stalions came around. You could argue that Connor Stalions is the most valuable member of any staff in America football division. Because without him, Harbaugh had to stay in his house. Harbaugh was doing turn off your water commercials. He lost all of his endorsements. He lost a third of his paycheck. He had to beg Ward Manuel to keep his job. He had to fire assistants. Oh, why? Because he got his ass beat by Urban Meyer on the regular. Never beat Meyer. Where was Meyer? Ohio State. Duh. The big game. He never won it. Oops. Along comes recruiting violations, an offensive coordinator currently under federal investigation for hacking into other schools' practice plans, a low-level staffer who's trying to seduce 14-year-old girls, and, of course, Connor Stalions, a head coach that got suspended 6 games during a season, an assistant coach who's now the head coach, this is Michigan, got suspended, Sharon Moore, 3 games during the season. And here comes Connor Stalions. Connor Stalions is no dummy. He's smart. He's really smart. He saved all these guys' asses. In fact, in the Harbaugh estate, there should be a Connor Stalions room. In the Sharon Moore, I think that's his name, estate, as the new head coach at Michigan, there should be a Connor Stalions room. In fact, when Harbaugh makes sweet love to his wife should yell out, "Thank you, Connor." Same thing with Sharon, whatever his name is. That's how important that dude has been to those people. They were out, done, dead, buried. You think Harbaugh would be the coach of the Chargers if he got his ass fired at Michigan for not being able to beat the team up north or down south or wherever the hell they talk about each other? No. But Connor Stalions rode in on his podium. Hey! Well, guess what? The streaming giant announced Sign Stealer. It's going to premiere August 27th. And the former Michigan staffer will share his side of Michigan's alleged sign-stealing scheme that turned him into a viral villain. This will be interesting from this standpoint. Do you think he'll rat him out? Do you think he'll rat out the fact that everybody knew, and of course they knew, that's the reason Connor Stalions was hired? Who's got it better than us? Nobody. Wait, here comes Connor. Who's got it better than us? No, I'm just telling you. Stalions refused to cooperate with the investigations. We still don't know if he was in disguise on Central Michigan's sideline. Never ratted on everybody. He fell on the sword for Michigan. Deep down, we all wish the guy in the program like that existed in our program. I don't. I'd rather lose. Oh, I'm not kidding you. I'd rather lose than do that. I would rather lose. That's me and Connor before he was Connor Stalions. I don't really remember this picture. I do remember his mother yelling at me when I was broadcasting a game. I do remember his mother telling me that I'm as bad as Vitale, which is high praise because Vitale's a Hall of Fame announcer. Look, I understood I was the best ESPN had and has ever had. I get it. That's what the bosses said, not me. But Stalions asked for a picture. I gave it to him. Then somehow it came up. And there we are, me and the C-Man. I am out of coaching for a lot of reasons, one of which is I don't want a guy like that in my program. I've never wanted a guy like that in my program. In fact, if I had a guy like that in my program, he'd have been fired the first day, or he would have never been hired. Because make no mistake, Whether Stalions rats anybody out or not, I don't care. We all know why he was hired. I mean, if you have a brain, like if you're a Michigan wonk and you're just a total believer, go blue, block M, Bo didn't know about the doctor, all that kind of happy horse bleep, then fine, I get it. We all get it. But if you're a human being that actually pays attention, listens, reads, and makes his own decisions, you're like, all right, why was the dude hired? Why was the dude so close to every defensive and offensive coordinator if nobody really knew him in the program? We know. Come on. And good for Harbaugh. He played the game. Think about it. There is a saying, right? It just means more in the SEC. There's also a saying that says if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. For years, it seems like Harbaugh wasn't cheating, which meant he wasn't trying, which meant he was getting his ass beat by Urban. And really, let's make no mistake about it, the only game that really matters is that game. And, of course, this year Ryan Day's on the hot seat, so it would behoove Ryan Day to go get himself a sign-stealing little punk like Connor Stalions. One of the great things about sports these days is little cheating punks, man, oh, man, they make the bank. Little cheating punks get promoted to being head coaches, certainly in basketball. Little cheating punks that stay little cheating punks are now probably at some point, like Calvin Sampson, going to go into the Basketball Hall of Fame as a great basketball coach. No, he's not. He's a little cheating punk. That's just the way it is. It pays 1,000%. It pays to cheat in college athletics. And anybody that doesn't think so, anybody is nuts. All you got to do is look at it. It pays to cheat. And the number one guy that got paid for cheating, number one guy, is Jim Harbaugh. And in basketball, Calvin Sampson. Calvin Sampson really can't coach blind turkeys to take a dump. I mean, everybody talks about what a great coach he is. He's not. I mean, I worked with a great coach, Bob Knight. Sampson's nice. He's okay. And I'm sure Harbaugh's nice and he's okay. But you throw cheating in there, now they know how to get that done. They absolutely know how to get that done. That makes them great coaches. You know, yesterday I'm watching the United States Olympic team. And I got to tell you, the United States Olympic team is unlikable. The United States Olympic team got bailed out by LeBron James. The United States Olympic team, as I'm watching, I found myself rooting for Mo Wagner and Franz Wagner. Mo and Duncan Robinson were my son's college roommates. They've been to the crib. They're awesome dudes. I like them. But Mo and Duncan, well, let me back up. Mo and Franz couldn't quite get it done against the Americans. Why? One reason, LeBron James. While every American guy was looking like a punk, looking scared, looking like, wait a second, these are serious people playing serious basketball, not the joke that the NBA is. Well, while they were doing that, LeBron said, screw it, I ain't losing. Rebound bucket, rebound bucket, rebound bucket, dive on the floor, even though he got it stripped. LeBron James saved the ass. But going into the game, Joel Embiid had to speak. Now, Joel Embiid looks fat, stupid, and unaware. That is the exact description. I looked at a buddy of mine. We were watching the game. I go, doesn't he look fat, stupid, and unaware? He just looked like he had no idea where he was. But apparently, like most American basketball players, he's going to speak. Joel Embiid comments on LeBron. There's concerns heading into the Olympics. The team's too old. Claims LeBron is not the same player at 39 as the same 39-year-old has been selected teams as LeBron James has been selected to be the flag bearer, which is a great thing. Joel Embiid got his ass bailed out yesterday. Joel Embiid should just shut the living hell up. I mean, Joel Embiid is one of those NBA guys that's always floated around, made big money, looks fat, out of shape, hasn't worked on his game. I know you're going to tell me he was MVP, my ass. You look at the talent that the U.S. has, but there's equal talent on other teams. Really, Joel? Okay, let's hear from that great philosopher, Joel. And the talent that's on the USA team, you also got to understand, most of those guys are older. The LeBron now is not the LeBron he was a couple years ago. Sure looked like it at the end. While you were walking around looking stupid and out of shape, LeBron James was getting it done for your sorry ass. See, sometimes people piss me off and should just shut up, and Embiid is one of those guys. Seriously, Embiid and Paul George are absolutely perfect for each other on Philadelphia. Philadelphia fans are really stupid. I mean, anybody from Philly, if you really talk to, they're just kind of dumb and annoying. However, having said that, Embiid didn't do squat. James did. LeBron now is not the LeBron that he was a couple years ago, so it's a big difference. Everybody would also tell you, and you can see for yourself, the athletic LeBron, dominant that he was a couple years ago, is not the same that he's now. I think people get fooled by the names on paper. But those names have been built throughout their career. Now they're older. They're not what they used to be. Really? Really? What were you or what are you as a younger guy, Joel Embiid? You freaking fraud, you full of shit. Ring chaser or a gold medal chaser. Hell, I don't even know if you're American. But you have the audacity to talk about LeBron James. And it was ironic. This came out a day before yesterday, before LeBron James saved the ass of Team USA. As I said, while Joel Embiid looked fat, stupid, and ridiculously uncomfortable playing in a basketball game against high-level professionals that were organized in a high-pressure moment, LeBron James was saving his ass. But you know what? He's too dumb to realize that. You know, I've come to the conclusion I've just had enough. I've had enough of NBA basketball players. I really have. I've had enough. They're going to tell us we're supposed to vote coming up here real soon. They're going to want us to vote for Cackling Camilla, but they're not going to do it. They're going to vote for whoever saves their money, but you're going to see it. Man, you know what? You got to get out and vote. Rock the vote. NBA votes. These fifth-grade education clowns have no idea about the issues of the day unless their agent tells them. They also apparently have no idea about basketball. So James scores the last 11 points yesterday. 4 for 4 shooting, hit a 3, had a game-high 20, and bailed Team USA out of an embarrassing loss to Germany. He also had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. There you go. Joel Embiid had 15 points, but you couldn't find him at the end of the game. He was too busy looking fat, hurt, disinterested, and frankly stupid. And it carries over. If you're going to criticize one guy or if you're going to make a statement about the USA team, don't make it that LeBron James ain't what he used to. Make it about the fact that other guys may be old. Make it about the fact that you, in particular, are always out of shape, always hurt, always moping, always whining, and always slow, Joel. Make it that you are the anti-LeBron James. See, LeBron James has gotten more out of his body maybe than any athlete in the history of sport, maybe other than Michael Phelps and possibly Simone Biles. I don't know the whole dynamic of gymnastics, but in the world of gymnastics, Simone Biles is like old, and she's so dynamic still. But James, including Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, guys that played a long time, has gotten more out of his body. It is unimaginable, I'm guessing, how much work he puts into his body, his game, maintaining a level. Now, a lot of you are saying he uses PEDs. I don't care. Don't matter to me. I'm just telling you, if he does, good for him. Why do I care? If they are and they're illegal, test him for it. Until then, I don't want to hear it. James is ripped. James can play. James is tough. He's experienced. He's determined. You don't like his politics? Okay. And when lazy, fat, stupid players like Joel Embiid don't like you, LeBron, you're doing pretty damn good. No, you're doing really, really good. TNT is going to go ahead, apparently, and match Amazon's rights deal as a potential legal Armageddon looms. Apparently, this is what's going to happen. Show that screenshot up there if you don't mind. While TNT, Charles Barkley, we're proud how we've delivered for basketball fans. I'm not going to read all this stuff. Regrettably, the league informed the second paragraph of its intention to accept other offers for the games in our current rights package, leaving us to proceed under the matching rights provision, which is an integral part of our current agreement, and the rights we have paid for under it. We have reviewed the offers and matched one of them. This will allow fans to keep enjoying our unparalleled coverage, including the best live game productions in the industry and our iconic studio shows and talent, while building on our proven 40-year commitment for many, many more years. Our matching paperwork was submitted to the league today. We look forward to the NBA executing our new contract. Well, you know where this goes. Where this goes is, okay, Sir Charles, you retiring now when they match? Or you retiring now if you get the rights? What are you going to do? This year, he has said, the great Charles Barkley has said this is his last year. I ask, really? Still? Even if they get the rights, still you're going to retire? Look, I don't blame you. I mean, the work schedule that he is on is basically kind of tough. It's not digging ditches. It's not being a cop. But it is not the easiest thing in the world. So earlier this month, the NBA reached an agreement with ESPN, Amazon, and NBC to carry games for 11 seasons for $76 billion. All right. Amazon agreed to the C package, which include games on Friday nights and Saturdays, and then on Thursdays after the final Thursday night football game of the year. Amazon and NBC plan to rotate a conference final every other year. The match fee for the seed package is $1.8 billion per year, respectively. ESPN and NBC will pay $2.6 and $2.5 billion annually. There you go. So they matched it for 1.8, which is less than the other two, but it is the C package. You got A, you got B, you got C packages. So there you go. All right. Hey, Jemele Hill is back in the news. You knew she had to be because, well, a black woman is running, although she's not black. It is fair game to say, don't give me this crap that Kamala Harris is African-American. She's not. She's like Indian or something. Not black. Oh, you can say brown. Hell, I'm brown today. I look good, too, by the way. Anyway, Jemele Hill, who I love giving time to, gives an insane reaction to Joe Biden dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. And you know, Stephen A. Smith had to chime in with his own level of stupidity. If I'm Trump, I'm laughing my ass off. The man Trump has been nothing but incompetent. Really? And buffoonish. Really? I thought he was reserved and pretty damn good. In fact, if you want to say incompetent, I don't know, man. I don't know, Jemele. Well, you've been fired from every job you've ever had because, well, frankly, you're not good at them. That dude's got buildings in major cities with his name on them. That dude's a billionaire many times over. And frankly, when he was running the country, I know you're not for black people. I know you are for black, what's the right word? You are for the perception. You're kind of black adjacent, Jemele Hill. I understand that. We all understand that. You're not really for looking at what black people had under Donald Trump, record employment, record wages, record opportunity. I know you're not really for that. You're black adjacent. You're trying to stay black, but you are trying to get that cap money, And we all see through it. I mean, if you really paid attention, black unemployment was up double digits under Trump, at least a couple things that I read. Who the hell knows what you read anymore, though I will give you that. Wages up almost 20% under Trump. Again, I forget what I read. I wrote it down, but who the hell can knows what you believe? It could be the exact opposite. I don't know, but I know what I read. All right, here we go. Essentially forced one of the most accomplished presidents in history to quit. How? They did a debate. Every rule was set for Joe Biden. Joe Biden went away for 9 to 12 days, depending on who you listen to. Joe Biden showed up as a stick figure. And Joe Biden then lost the support of those closest and most powerful in the party. You're right. By being incompetent, Biden exposed himself to competence. And that's never a good thing for the incompetent. Trump smashed him, beat him over the head. I don't know what happened with the assassination attempt, but something certainly did. I mean, the timeline is certainly fishy. Let's go through it real quick. Conspiracy theories, at least ones proposed by OutKick, seem to come true. So let's go through. Trump-Biden debate. Biden humiliated. Trump exalted. There's a lot in between, but fast forward. Attempt on Trump's life. Couple days later, week later, Biden has COVID, which we all know or assume he doesn't have. Hell, he might be dead. Laura Loomer, who people have dismissed, said, don't give me this garbage. There was a medical incident on the plane. Fast forward, now Charlie Kirk and others are reporting, no. The medical incident happened in Vegas. Streets were blocked to get Biden to his medevac back to Arlington. It's an interesting timeline if you're a conspiracy theorist. It's an interesting timeline if you're just a human being that says, wait a second, let me read this. That's interesting. Nobody's accusing anybody of anything. It's just interesting. Then the CIA director comes in yesterday, and she doesn't know her ass from third base. I don't know. You tell me. I don't think it was Trump that got Biden out of there. And if you think he's an accomplished president, then God bless you. No, God bless you. I mean, the border's wide open. Inflation's running rampant. There isn't anything that he's done for the American people. So I get it. You're a Democrat. You got to say those things. Well done. Well, I also feel the need to say this, even though it's been said 40 million times. Michelle Obama's not running for president. Not now, not ever. All right. Y'all got y'all wish. Now what? Because to assume VP Harris is the next person up is assuming a lot. Well, apparently she is. All right, here's the resident buffoon, clown, showman, Stephen A. Smith. If you bring someone other than her, then you really upset the apple cart. It's too much to overcome. By keeping her, the synergy is there. Respectfully, I think he's done a good job. But I don't think there's anything wrong with us saying, you've done a good job, thank you for your years of service, it's time for someone else. I don't thank him for his years of service. He's been a shyster, a huckster, a bully. He's been a guy that somehow on $270,000 a year, and it didn't start that way, it ended that way in the Senate, somehow, some way bought himself 4 mansions. Now, maybe he is just really good, but where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, you raised a son, Bo, who was a patriot by all accounts. Maybe that crushed your soul. Maybe that crushed your life. It's horrible. I get it. You started dating your nanny while you were married. You got kicked out of the race in the 80s because you plagiarized. I did love the fact that you had the balls when you ran for president the next time to go get hair plugs. It was stunning. It was great. It was awesome. While in the middle of a Senate hearing, the hair plugs kept growing, and anybody that understands losing their hair knows what hair plugs and toupees look like. We just do. I admired that. Then you came back and somehow got yourself in the Obama White House as the VP. And as President Obama famously said in one of the few short, intelligent things that man has ever said, never underestimate the ability of Joe Biden to fuck things up. And boy, was that right. I mean, if he touches it, it goes to hell. And then as president, you were so bad that your popularity is under 30% or under 33%. Your own party despises you. They got you out. They backstabbed you. They got you out. You were ruled too incompetent to stand trial. Your son got convicted of a felony, but the media somehow, some way still protected you. As recently as a few days ago, everybody was saying, hey, look, you should see him behind closed doors. I have a friend that works in the White House that said, no. When Biden walks, all the cables have to be moved because he can't pick up his feet. Unless he's juiced up, he can barely speak. And when he does, he's yelling and screaming and cussing out. There is nothing good about Joe Biden, in my opinion. He is a loudmouth. He is a liar. He is a fraud. He is a phony. And he's always been. His stories are legendary for lying about his accomplishments. He has none. Well, I mean, that's not right to say. I mean, he did manage to get himself elected many, many times and got himself to be president. But I got to tell you, I always respected getting to the office of the president. I don't with Biden, certainly wouldn't with Kamala Harris. But don't let anybody fool you. This is not a great American. This is not a great patriot. This is a piece of shit that somehow, some way worked the system to get to be the president, and maybe that's too strong. I don't know. And if it is, I apologize. But I just cannot stand people. I cannot stand them. I've hated them my whole life. I cannot stand loudmouths that are bullies. The more success I ever had, the quieter I got. The more I brought people in. This idiot, the lack of success that he had, he makes up stories to make himself look good. The louder he gets, and he's full of shit. So goodbye, Joe Biden, wherever you are, but do not forget this. Never underestimate the power of women. And you know. It ain't who's voting. It's who's counting the votes. Speaking of loudmouths, I'm getting a little tired of Paul Finebaum. I've defended Finebaum on this show. I have. I've thought Finebaum to be a guy that I always liked. I still do. I listen to a show, and frankly, I don't understand. I don't understand how his shows are entertaining, but maybe it's because when he speaks, I guess, we talk about it. WTF is what my boys wrote here. After spending the last couple weeks ripping both Lincoln Riley and Deion Sanders. Finebaum went on First Take yesterday and hypocritically labeled Deion Sanders as the answer to the problems of Southern Cal. Look, you got to understand something. People say pick a side. You got to understand when you go on those shows, they hit you up about, I don't know, a night before. What do you think? You come up with something that you want people talking about. I never did, and I was stupid for that. I just gave you what I thought. Finebaum has been smarter than me. Stephen A. Smith has been way smarter than me. They come up with takes that make people talk. I have not been that smart. I just give you what I honestly think, much to my demise, I suppose, although I'm having the time of my life on the best network I've ever worked for. So maybe not my demise. Maybe it's actually worked. Here's Finebaum being hypocritical.
Stephen A., I get where you're coming from, but to me it's about trajectory. And I think he's lost the momentum. He had that town. Stephen A., you live there a lot of the year. You have to win in L.A., otherwise you lose badly. And I think he's losing badly. And instead of harping on Lincoln Riley, I've decided to come up with a solution. I thought about this the other day. Okay, maybe he does well, maybe he doesn't. But the answer is really moving forward. And I believe the answer after this season is Deion Sanders. He's going to be tired of Colorado because, quite frankly, it's not prime time. He's done well as he can with his son and Travis Hunter and all the Stephen A's and Shannon Sharp appearances. But that's going to dry up this year because they're not going to be that great. But you put prime in Tinseltown, and I think you have one of the great combinations in history. We just got through talking about, or you did, LeBron. LeBron has owned that town as many others before him. And I think Deion Sanders, as the coach at Southern Cal, is the answer to the problems. Lincoln Riley is a good coach. He's got a great resume. Deion Sanders just exudes exactly what that community is all about. He takes the recruiting there, which Lincoln had and then lost, but I think he sustains it, especially now. Today, the Big Ten Media Days is going on with Southern Cal. And can you imagine a year from today, Deion Sanders walks into Big Ten Media Days. Everybody else, get out of the way.
There you go. He's not wrong about that last part. He's not wrong about the fact that Lincoln Riley may have lost momentum, but I'm going to let this play out. Like, look, I get it, Deion Sanders and his persona, but what if he has an under 500 record? Look, also, you got to understand, white guy comes on that show, he's got to acquiesce to to Stephen A. Smith. Let's make no bones about it. The white dude coming on that show has to be very, very careful. It's kind of hard to explain. You know, it's like that Supreme Court judge said about pornography. I can't explain it, but I know it when I see it. And that's what Finebaum and other white guests have to do. Now, J.J. Redick, to his credit, made fun of the clown, Stephen A. Smith, and his clownish, foolish sidekick, Molly, I don't know her name, Rose Querum. I think she got divorced from Jalen Rose. But the fact of the matter is this. You got to be a little careful. You got to go pro-black when you're on that show. You just do. You get mad about it, but you just do. And saying Deion Sanders would be perfect, guess what it did? It shut everybody up. And maybe Sanders would be perfect, but I don't know that you can hire him. Well, you can do whatever you want. But you know what? If he goes 6-5 or 7-6, I don't know what he's going to go this year. But I tell you this, Sanders would make it interesting. But that's the backstory. I'm here to give you backstories on it. That's why every white guest on there acquiesces. Every white guest is like, oh, I got to appease. I can't look. Any word I say could be construed as racist. That's the way that world works. All right, we come back. Chad Withrow is going to join us. Biden dropping out, thoughts on the Olympic teams, and, of course, thoughts on Jordan Love holding out of training camp.